Okay, now we're going to see how good I am in improvising, because my colleague, he couldn't come. So I will just, but I know the data. I'm the head of the analysis, so I should know all the data. But here I have to look even more at the slides before talking about them. But so that's a disclaimer. So, okay, here we go. So here, the story is we're going to look at each country that is a part of OPEC to see what is the kind of Africa's contribution to the global situation of OPEC. Are they able to respond to the future demand, and what is Africa's position on that? Yeah, so here we are looking at the resource potential split by liquids and gas, and how it has developed. This is the production. And here you see the OPEC countries in Africa. It is Algeria, Libya, Nigeria, and Congo, and Equatorial Guinea, I guess. And the last one is, who knows the name of that? That's a quiz. That's a quiz. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I just step on here. And here we look at the history of African OPEC and oil supply. So OPEC, the quotas are related to crude oil, but here we actually add a little condensate, and Nigeria has quite some condensate. And you see that it was growing to 8 million barrels from 5 million barrels over this time span. And now, looking at the forecast, up to now, so it increased up to 2010, and it has actually decreased quite a lot since 2010. So it's coming down from 8 and down to 5. And that is because the fields are maturing. For instance, in Nigeria and Angola, there is a lot of FPSOs that has now come off plateau. So we see that production is falling. And you see Nigeria has fallen. They also have a lot of problems, as you know, with so-called bunkering, which is theft in normal language. And then Angola also, where the FPSOs that produced a lot when they were at plateau, they are coming off plateau. And even Algeria is declining. So and Libya is up and down. Libya is now up again. It has been up and down over the last 10 years. Yeah, so this is a split of the various split of the 73 billion barrels of reserves. So that is the entire resource potential of African OPEC countries. That includes even some potential exploration activities. When we say resource potential, it includes undiscovered. There are still exploration activities. So if you want to look at how much oil is going to be produced during the entire century, then we look also at exploration potential. But you see that Libya, Nigeria, they have together 60% of the reserves. And then comes Angola and Algeria. And then we split it. Here you see exactly what I said, the split of this resource potential in producing and not yet approved. The green is discoveries that has to be approved and sanctioned. So you see it's a 1/3 split of production, discoveries, and exploration. And that shows our view on the kind of resilience of production in the African OPEC countries. We think that there will be a lot of approvals, a lot of activity, a lot of exploration activities in Nigeria and Angola going forward. We also see on the right that deep water is an important part of the resource potential of these OPEC countries in Africa. Here we are looking at forecast up to 2040 of what is approved producing, and then looking at the potential if the activity is keeping up, if we manage to attract investments and attract international oil companies to Africa, then the potential is again to see some growth in these countries. So we saw in the previous slide that fell from 8 to 5 million barrels per day. Here we think that if activity is coming, because the resources is there, the infrastructure is there, so this is a kind of likely path, but it requires international oil companies to come. Then it can grow, but not a kind of dramatic growth, but at least 2 million barrels or something like that is still possible from these countries if activity is coming back. And we see activity is coming back, by the way. We are in an upcycle of upstream activities now and the next couple of years. Again, capex. So the sum of capex in these countries is, as we speak, about $20 billion. But we are expecting a long upcycle on capex. So the potential is to double, and that is needed if this previous chart is going to happen, that we are going from 5 million barrels towards 7 million barrels in the OPEC countries, then we have to actually double the capex level. But this is something that we think is possible. This is the kind of base case in our database, that this will happen, and all these are named projects. But later, maybe a little exploration in the end, but up to 2030 and maybe 35, all this is named project, but they are not yet approved. So these approvals that we think will happen will drive us back to very high investment levels in especially Nigeria and Angola, I would say. Yeah, that is. I think that's what I just told. And for Nigeria, the investment has come far down. It came down to below $5 billion. It is now coming back a little, but we think that the potential is tripling, and that is fairly realistic potential, because this project has been risked a little, and this named project, we know exactly in which OPLs this project will come. But it's a kind of impressing chart that we think that over the next 10-15 years, that the investment level in Nigeria has the potential to triple. With all the new policies that is coming to place in Nigeria, I think they will be able to attract capital again. And on the right, you see the pie is that a large part of this will be carried by the national oil companies, but you see that 30% is coming from the international oil companies, the majors. Now, same Libya. Libya, if things is normalizing in Libya, we will see the same potential there. Libya also has some offshore potential, by the way. As I think that some of this last potential here is some that would require new rounds, new awards. But if the political situation is stabilizing, we can see this happening as well. Angola, it's not so dramatic as Nigeria. It fell to below $3 billion. It has grown to $4 billion. But this likely potential is a lot of very nice prospects also in Angola. So we will see exploration and development and capex coming back, but not the same potential as Nigeria. Nigeria has a very special geology, petroleum geology. It's a deltaic basin, and you have several source rocks, several source horizons, and you can almost find gas wherever you drill in shelf in Nigeria if you drill deep enough. But Angola is a little different. It's a different geology. It's a rift basin. It's a little more work and to identify exactly the place with the migration to the reservoirs and so on. More complex geology that is more similar to what you see, for instance, in where I'm coming from the North Sea. I don't come from the North Sea. I come from the mainland Norway. But Angola has a lot of commonalities with the geology across the Atlantic, while Nigeria is very special. That's why the potential to increase activity is so much higher in Nigeria. Algeria, the same. Algeria has had a very large oil field that is very mature, declining. We think that we will come back activities, and the potential is also to increase. But here you see that the national oil companies is having a much larger share than what we saw, for instance, in Nigeria. Oh, that's a complicated chart. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. You send me a question on that chart, and I'll ask the guy that has made it. If somebody understands, then take the microphone. It's about financing. It's no units here, so that's why I normally orient myself looking at the units. Okay. Okay, that is what I could improvise to you. I hope you learned something.
Super, Magnus.
Okay. It's fantastic. You have a sense of humor. I like that.
Thank you very much, Per Magnus. Yes, that was just perfect improvising for Siva not being here. And thank you for everyone for listening to both sessions. Thank you for but thank you so much for joining us. First session for the conference, of course, is also the workshop day. Rystad Energy, we are a Norwegian company headquartered out of Oslo, over 36 offices globally, and of course, a couple of us are here today. You've met Per Magnus already, and on my right here, who I'm going to get on the stage shortly, Matt Watson, who's our head of global sales, and just over there, my colleague who heads our South African office, Nkululeko Nkobo. So I'll get Matt on the stage. He has a couple of words to say. Come on.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Bim, and thanks, Per Magnus, as always. Entertaining as well as informing, and it's a great pleasure for us to be here. I know NK's in the corner. We're excited. We've been, of course, the intelligence partners for the Africa Energy Week since its inception. But over the last year, we've opened up our offices in Cape Town and really excited to be here for the first time as a company kind of truly represented in the continent. But of course, we work a lot with African companies, specifically OPEC, where we are the official kind of intelligence partner to OPEC. So we work a lot with the OPEC organization and member countries in terms of, advising them within the OPEC meetings, but also in terms of the kind of strategic requirements. So those of you who are representing the countries or the bodies, we'd love to talk to you, learn a little bit more about what you're doing, and of course continue that relationship going forward. As Bim mentioned, we are an intelligence provider. Everything that you saw on the screen is driven by the ecosystem of intelligence that we sit on. And the bedrock, and I guess the foundation to what Rystad Energy does, is we're tracking and following the entire energy system bottom up. So what that means is every data point you saw there is built asset by asset, field by field, wind farm, solar farm, whatever the case may be, on capacities, resources, production, economics, valuations, to truly understand the fundamentals of supply and, of course, matching that with demand. And we do that across the energy space. So from the kind of greenest of green energy all the way through fossil fuel. And that's how we're able to create these types of views, but also support our clients in the way that we do. So I just wanted to thank you all for attending this session. We will be here throughout the conference. I know we are doing presentations throughout the days, moderating and attending different panels. But I'd love for you to grab me or any of my colleagues to have a chat with us. And those of you who haven't done so yet, please register for Wednesday evening. We're going to be holding a cocktail reception between 6 and 8 p.m. And we would love as many of you to join us and have some fruitful chats because we are supporting a lot on energy transition, but I think that means a very different thing in Africa. Of course, it's not really transitioning, it's really bringing energy to the people, and I think energy security really is the kind of name of the game at the moment. So really excited to be here, hear fruitful discussions, and I look forward to speaking to you all in person. So thank you very much.